Hello and welcome to new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the newly released grass-type Stadia Pokemon Meowscarada here right now in the Open Great League. This Pokemon is the last in the trio that I still have to showcase here today, as you're going to already have all of the other two on my channel, so definitely check those videos out as well. Going to be both linked on the end card so you can stay till the end and just click them there then, as we're going to take a look today at, of course, the grass-type starter. We're still going to have one more Pokemon to come today on this channel, which is going to be, of course, the Collage, I think. I don't know. It's still, honestly, like the new Generation 9 Pokemon, I just cannot say the names for most of them. So, yeah, definitely sorry for that one, but we're still gonna get the Piggy done today on this channel as well, most likely in like 2-3 hours here as well on the channel. So definitely subscribe if you have not already, and if you don't want to miss the new Piggy Pokemon as well, because it's actually fairly decent in the Great League. But yeah, let's take a look a little bit at the team here right now. It's a team that might be a little bit familiar to you from like last season, where we were running this team basically instead of the Meowscarada with the Dugong here, which got me to Legend, which was a really good team. Definitely can recommend you the team as well. I think it's a little bit trickier to play nowadays, because there might be Carbink around, and Carbink is a little bit of a trickier one. But Meowscarada, as you can see here right now, is actually a cool Pokemon in the Great League, and I was surprised on how strong this Pokemon actually can be. And I did not get a single buff, of course, because you know me already. I go for Night Slash 20 times, I don't get a single buff. It is always the case, so like, don't even expect me to boost through the meta right now, because this will not happen in today's video. But otherwise, we're going to have here a very interesting team in general. Also here, I still have to kind of figure out how to play this team, because here shows swapped out immediately into the Meowscarada after seeing the opponent's Tapu Fini. But I decided to first go for a Psycho Boost, which was not the worst decision either, because now I can easily farm them all the way down here. But I would have been able to farm down no matter what, so this was definitely a silly mistake by me, because I didn't know that I had actually a Grass-type Pokemon in the back that does actually Grass-type damage. And this is the thing about Meowscarada as well. Compared to other grass as well as dark type Pokemon, where we already had quite a few in the game right now. For example, Shiftry is like one of the most potent ones, but yeah, like we're going to have those, but you don't really have fast move pressure with this. And here right now with Leafage, you at least have some fast move pressure, while Leafage still needs a little bit of a buff, to be fair. I really would like to see Leafage being a Shadow Claw clone, because I don't think it's going to be broken or anything like this. Shadow Claw with the Ghost typing is way better as an attacking fast move in general, so like it's not going to be even as good with this, and you just need one more energy to get it there. As far as I know, it would make so many grass type Pokemon way better, which would be so much better for the meta as well, because grass type Pokemon are usually kinda, yeah, not really there. You're going to have something like Trevenant, which is mainly there because of the ghost typing. You have something like Venusaur maybe once in a while, which is mainly there because of the poison typing and the resistance to counter. So grass types in general are not really that commonly seen in the Great League, so I would really like to see a Leafage buff for this Pokemon as well as if we're going to get the Frenzy Plant on this Pokemon eventually. This is going to be also really amazing, because then we're going to be able to do a ton of damage with this Pokemon with a better charge move there as well, which you're going to get to faster. So this Pokemon has actually a lot of potential. While being a very squishy Pokemon, it definitely can do a lot of things in the Open Great League, and especially for the future. So I definitely would recommend you to try to get a decent one that you can just keep for later if you don't want to play some spicier stuff right now. This Pokemon definitely has some potential, just because it has some fast move pressure as a grass type, which is really rare to be seen unless you're going to run Shadow Victory Bell with Razor Leaf, but then you don't have charge move pressure as well, which you have both here on this Pokemon, which is really cool. So Night Slash on this Pokemon really helps this Pokemon out as well, because you're going to have a cheap bait move that's going to be Step and can boost your attack. So basically Night Slash, one of the best moves anywhere in the game. And here we're going to now have the match up against the Kofag. And this is going to be so nice, because you can just go for the Night Slash, do a decent amount of damage, or they shield the move up, but I can resist everything from the opponent. Kofag main weakness is that it does not have any coverage against any Dark-type Pokemon. So here we're going to be able to just go freely for a Night Slash, and we can now go ahead, shield this move up just for the fun, to be fair. I didn't have to do this. I could have also even let this move go through and I guess farm him down with my Deoxys, but this is of course a little bit easy, as I can still go ahead and go for the Night Slash against the opponent, as I will be able to now align my Deoxys, and unless they're going to go for 2 Scalds here, there's nothing they can do to win this game, and there was nothing they can do. do. So, let's take a look at the next game. We're going to have the Medicham against us in the lead. This is going to be a very decent lead for us, and they're going to swap out into the Talonflame. This is a little bit tricky here right now. I'm going to let this move go through. It was a CMP tie, it's not really ideal for me, but at least I'm going to hopefully be able to get a shield advantage. And I'm going to swap now immediately, of course, into my Umbreon, because I still have to keep my first Pokemon a little bit healthy for the opponent's Medicham. But let's take a look at this one here right now. They're going to go for the Flame Charge immediately. I will be able to go for the Foul Play here in the perfect alignment, as well as I can go for one more Fast Move and go for another Foul Play and then knock them out. So I have now a shield advantage and switch advantage, which is firstly kind of nice, but then you're going to see that Medicham is going to be able to counter me all the way down, which is then not really that nice. And if someone is running Talonflame in the current meta, the likelihood of them having a Charizard in the back is fairly high, I would say. So I'm going to expect that they're going to have the Charizard in the back, which is correct. And I'm going to go ahead and go for the Thunderbolt. And I made a mistake here. I definitely made a mistake. I should just went for 2 shields, go for the Thunderbolt, and hope that I can somehow win with my Meowscarada against the opponent's Medicham. What I did instead, I went ahead and go for the Psycho Boost, which does not knock them out. They're going to go straight for the Dragonclaw here right now, which is at least decent for me. But I have to go into my Meowscarada right now, try to farm them all the way down, and try to get to another charge move against the opponent's Medicham, but I have to get to a Grass Knot, and I'm just barely not there. I will be able to catch the next charge move here from the opponent onto my Umbreon, but sadly they were at 100 energy, and there's nothing I can do about it, as they can still get to another Ice Punch, and this is going to be all it for me, sadly, as Night Surge wouldn't have knocked them out from this range anyway. I need like 1 or 2 more fast moves to get to the next charge move. Next opponent, we see a Gligar in the lead, a Pokemon that I don't really like to face with this team, and it's okay actually if we can hit something like the Psycho Boost against them, especially here right now. We're gonna get them so low that they're in Night Slash range for my Meowscarada after a few Leafage, so that's going to be okay for me. In comes here right now from the opponent the Greedent, a Pokemon that I don't like to play against at all now because it has Mud Shot. Definitely a very strong buffed Pokemon in the current meta, as Greedent is going to be able to spam those Body Slams left, right, and center. We're definitely going to take a look at this Pokemon as well for the Open Ultra League, where it's even going to be stronger than in the Great League, so definitely stay tuned for this one as well then, when the Ultra League going to drop in a few days. Still have to do the top teams of the Ultra League as well around buffed Pokemon, so that's going to be an interesting one. But yeah, for now we're going to be able to go ahead and go for the Foul Play here, as we will be able to farm them all the way down with our Deoxys, and now we're gonna be able to go ahead and hopefully go for a Psycho Boost to knock them out against the Gligar here. We're going to overfarm by a little bit, didn't want to overfarm by quite that much because maybe they get to the Aerial Ace in time, but they're going to use a shield anyway, and they're going to swap out into a Lickitung. This can be decent for us, but can be also a little bit tricky. The thing is, if I'm going to get the knockout here with a Grass Knot, I'm going to be okay, but if I don't get the knockout with a Grass Knot, it's going to be a little bit of a tough one. I'm going to let this first move go through. We're going to single resist the lick damage from the opponent, which is nice. Does this knock them out? They survive with like literally like 3 HP, and now they're gonna get to another Body Slam, and I just needed the shield here. If I had the shield, I think I would have been fine, but like this, sadly, my opponent going to be able to go into their Gligar. They have an Aerial Ace stored, and I have just barely not enough health there to get to another charge move. And honestly, I'm fairly certain I actually could have won this game if I just went ahead and let the move go through against my Meowscarada and farmed down the Lickitung with my Umbreon. I think I would have been fine, so that's definitely also something that I maybe did a little bit wrong there, but it's fine. We're going to take a look now at the next opponent, as you're going to see a Gligar swapping in after they revealed already that they're going to have a Medicham in the lead. So, we can get some damage onto the opponent here with a Psycho Boost. This is like the one thing why I really like to play the Deoxys defense in the lead. Just Psycho Boost and Dip is so nice if you win the lead, as we're now going to be able to get the opponent into range where I can just go ahead, go for another Foul Play and knock them out afterwards. This Dig is not doing anything, especially as they are non-Shadow, and now they're gonna go for another Dig, so they're at 0 energy, directly 0 energy, so I can go for 3 more fast moves. Perfect energy alignment here right now for me, as I will be able to get the opponent's knockout there, as we're gonna get out the Medicham, which is going to have to take at least 1 more charge move here, maybe even 2. Let's see if we can get to another one afterwards. We are very bulky, but we die literally on it, so yeah, that's a little bit awkward, but we can still at least go ahead and go into our Deoxys, which can now knock out the opponent with just a single Thunderbolt, most likely already in this range. Maybe a little bit more damage from counter actually is needed here, but 1 Thunderbolt basically nearly knocks them out from this range here, which is cool. But as you're going to see right now, we're going to see something different or like weird. They're going to use a shield here. So they're going to be weak against the Deoxys in the back, which they cannot tell me with that. But I will be able to still hit another move, and they're going to have a Lapras in the back. And this is now going to be the Ice type against the Grass type Pokemon here. But of course, Surf is not going to do too much, but I still have the shield advantage, which is really nice. So we're going to be able to go ahead and go for a Night Slash here. We're going to get the shield, and I'm going to go and commit to the Grass Knot, which was not really ideal, to be fair. I should have went for the Night Slash at this point. I think I would have been most likely able to knock them out with it, but like this, we're going to be able to still win the game, as Meowscarada can just knock out the opponent's Medicham with a few more fast moves. And we can move on into the next one here right now. We're going to see the Sand Slash in the lead again. Great lead for us. We have counter, going to be double super effective, and they're going to swap into a Sableye. This is not ideal for them at all, and you're going to see me use a shield immediately. The thing is, here is usually a very decent matchup for you as an Umbreon user for sure. But if you use a shield here, you're going to ensure that you're going to basically get the damage away from you here with the return, because they're never going to go for a bait in the beginning. So like this, we will be able to now put the opponent into a range where I can just farm them down. I don't have to care about the return hitting now, because it's not going to do enough damage to like two-shot me, which it might have done if, yeah, I would have let the first return go through. And like this, I'm going to be one shield down, but I'm going to be able to go for a triple foul play against the opponent's Sand Slash. So, yeah, I think that's definitely a worthy trade, as we will be able to now hit another one afterwards. Most likely, they're going to not knock me out with this one yet. And I'm going to stall this one though, and I'm going to, no, actually, never mind. I'm going to go for the Pelipper here, because the Pelipper definitely does want to get some damage on itself. So I'm going to be able to swap now into my Meowscarada. This Pokemon will go for the Night Slash, and this is going to do some decent damage if it would land, but it does not land. And the opponent decides to go ahead and go for the Weather Ball, which is not going to do enough damage, but they can sadly barely farm me down, which is not ideal. And now I have to go ahead and go into my Deoxys, let the move go through. It's going to be the Hurricane, which is going to do a ton of damage here. So we are going to go straight for the Psycho Boost. Was this the right play? Let's take a look at this. Yeah, we can still farm down the Sand Slash, and this is going to be a very good game for us, winning this game pretty easily, to be fair. But also we won the lead there, so also the Say-Sop as well, so like I guess, yeah, that was kind of expectable. Here you're going to see me make a weird play by going into my Meowscarada against the opponent's Cresselia there, because I kind of was like feeling that I needed to keep my Umbreon alive for the back there at the end, because they were running the Cresselia, and Cresselia is definitely weaker against the Umbreon, while I will be able to outspeed the opponent a little bit easier with the Meowscarada. Getting to the move after 10 fast moves is really nice here, so I feel like that was a better play. And like this, I'm actually going to be able to also get the opponent's Gligar insanely low, and also I will be able to go into my Deoxys now, because I want to keep my Umbreon healthy, of course, and farm them all the way down, as I didn't go for even a charge move there for whatever reason. They would have definitely been able to go for an Aerial Ace, but I don't know if it's actually going to matter anyways. The opponent going to go ahead and go for a charge move against me. I guess after an Aerial Ace, this might have knocked me out. Nah, okay, wouldn't have. Definitely wouldn't have, but I will be able to now go into my Umbreon, shield up the potential Moonblast, which is going to be a Moonblast, and they're going to have a Medicham in the back. And this is not ideal for us. Of course it's not ideal. They're going to have a fighter against us, but Umbreon, actually, if you have a little bit of energy advantage, you will be able to win the zero shield scenario against the opponent. And as there are no shields in play, I'm feeling kinda decent about the scenario right now, because I think we're going to be fine. Especially if you see on the right side there, the switch clock is slowly coming up, which will allow me to go into my Deoxys then, but not after, like, not before I go on and go for a foul play first, which is going to get some decent damage onto them. I'm going to swap out now. The opponent going to swap at the same time. This can be a little bit scary, but we still outspeed them to the Thunderbolt. This Thunderbolt is coming through, gonna do enough damage to knock them out, and we will see now the Medicham coming back in, going down there basically by our Deoxys defense, as we can now see the next opponent coming up. We're gonna have a Lantern against us. This is going to be a little bit awkward, but I can still, again, do the same thing as we always do. We go for a Psycho Boost and dip out immediately. We have an ABB line, we have two Dark types in the back, we have to get out the Fighting type Pokemon. This is exactly what we're going to be able to do here right now in this matchup, which is going to be nice for us, as we will hit the last resort against the opponent. Are they going to go for the close combat? No, they're going to go for the triple axle, being a little bit greedy here, because this will allow me to go for the more charge moves and gonna get them lower. So, in my opinion, close combat would have been the play for them, as I know already that they're going to get ward later on by the Deoxys, but they also were not as great at counting moves, because this was not even a last resort at all. Like, literally just barely got to the foul play. Couldn't have been a last resort. But like this, I'm still going to be forced to use a shield here because that's sadly going to outspeed me to the next move here. And I kind of want to keep at least a little bit of health on my Deoxys. But I still hope that I can just sweep the endgame with my Meowscarada. Let's see if we can do this. As they're going to swap out onto the Lantern, into our Meowscarada. This is going to be a Thunderbolt. Going to still a ton of damage. And sadly, honestly, from all the Pokemon that got buffed this season, I feel like Steelix is the most annoying to deal with, and I honestly don't think it was a smart idea to put Breaking Swipe on this Pokemon. Like, buff it in a different way, but not Breaking Swipe. I think it's a little bit too strong on this Pokemon. Just my honest thoughts about it, because I feel like in every kind of neutral scenario, you're going to completely get destroyed by this Pokemon. It's basically like a Bastion, but on steroids, so... Like, Steelix is insanely meta right now for sure, and you see already, like, it's now gonna put me into range where I can just get sparked down. I'm still gonna go for the Psycho Boost just for fun, but yeah, there is not a lot that I can do about it. I feel like Steelix is the most annoying one of them all. I think the best one in total is, of course, Gligar, which definitely benefited the most as we're going to encounter another Steelix. Great there. Yeah, the most annoying and the most difficult to play against is most likely the Steelix, as you're going to be forced to swap out a lot of times thanks to the debuff of Breaking Swipe. Having Dragon Tail as well, getting you a ton of damage with it is kind of wild as well. So yeah, while you're going to not do really a lot of damage against Fairy type Pokemon, like especially the Tapu Fini, which I expect going to rise a little bit in the Ultra League, especially because you're going to encounter a lot of Steelix there as well. It's still going to be a little bit of a tough Pokemon to deal with most teams. So yeah, Steelix, definitely difficult. Here we're going to be able to now go up against the opponent's Medicham, as I'm still going to be forced to go for a charge move, otherwise I wouldn't be able to swap out in time. But at least now I can swap out and go for a Thunderbolt against the opponent's Medicham. This is going to do a ton of damage if it would go through it, but it does not go through, and now we're going to have a Trevenant in the back. And we're not in the best position here right now. It's just going to be a little bit tough here right now, as the opponent going to be able to just go ahead and farm me all the way down, but not before I can go for another charge move. And this might be actually important, because now I will be able to farm them down with my Meowscarada. Going to shield up the first move, it's going to be, of course, the Seed Bomb, and if we don't shield the second move, you know already what it's going to be. Is it the Seed Bomb? Is it the Shadow Ball? Of course, the Shadow Ball, and we... It's just unfortunate. Honestly, it's just very unfortunate. But we at least going to be able to go ahead and use a shield against the Ice Punch from the opponent's Medicham. I can go for a Night Slash here right now, and I will be able to use Foul Play against the opponent here as well. So at this point of time, they still have their Steelix in the back, and I'm fairly certain if I actually shield up the right move here, I might have been fine, but yeah, no, never mind. Night Slash wouldn't have done enough damage anyway. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, check out the two other starters here on the screen right now, and I see you then later on for the piggy. Bye bye.